decided one daily segment wasn't enough for Bill Bush and Bill's Thrills, so we turned it into a week-long podcast recap. Here's Bill's Thrills Rewrapped, sponsored by Acres Equipment on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It is a Bugaboo Tuesday, and Bill is here for it. Bill, what's bothering you today?
Things bother me.
They do.
And one thing that bothers me is the corn situation.
Yeah,
we're in the middle of
we're
in the middle of right
got
now
some
with
fights going on.
harvest going on right now. All right,
There's
my
the flip.
bugaboo.
There's the flip.
There it is.
I thought to do something a little odd and go back in time.
Oh,
And
are
go
you
back in
kidding
time.
me?
We just don't do that enough.
Oh, AI, improved automated climate control. The ceiling is not appealing. The tubular fan. The fan. The fan is what bothers me the most right now.
What are you talking about?
The fan, because of all these new inventions of AI, the ceiling fans, all the new fans that are the ones that are just like the tall tube type of looking things that blow like that. Because of all those things, the box fan that was in everyone's house forever is gone, and the rotary fan is gone, and there's no kids talking into it to make a robot voice. There is no kids talking into it to make a robot voice. You don't see it anymore. It's non-existent. And it's disheveling to this world. Oh, God. It would eat up an hour a day. Just like the robot sound. You just stand in front of the fan and talk. And your mom would be like, what are you doing? And you would just stand. And as kids, you'd always stop. And we went by a fan. There's no box fan anymore. And there's no fans like that anymore. No. Everyone has all these new fans. We got the ceiling fans.
What's the tube fan?
What's that?
I don't even know what it is.
It's tall. It's tall. It's about this big around.
Yeah. It's called a tornado, I think.
Where's the air blowout?
What's that? It just out. It kind of moves. Anyway, it's
called a tornado.
It's called a tornado. Fan. But you just don't get remember the box fan that everyone had. Like two or three. You had them everywhere.
By your bed.
By your bed. The big box fan, or just the old school one. And you could stop it when you could put it on there. You could have it on rotation.
Just keep talking. This is beautiful.
It would be on the floor at everyone's house because it's trying to rotate the air. Gotta get it going through because AC now is so good. Refrigerated air is which I like refrigerated air. We know my feeling for that. But not these fans. You don't see them anywhere anymore.
Not
the
really.
box fan, and you don't see kids spending time all summer long talking into them. That's where the problem is. There's kids now that have no idea how to make a robot voice into a fan.
I didn't do that very much.
I did it quite often.
I kind of missed that.
Yeah, I did it quite often.
I know what you're talking about. Don't get me wrong. I know what you're talking. I just never partook in it.
Just all of a sudden when you start
do it again
with that. I can't even if I could even do it again like that. Just wah 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 wah. You're talking. It sounded like it was robot talk, wasn't it, Ben? Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible.
Ben knows.
It's better times. So we got a problem in society right now because no one has them because of the improvement. Everyone had to make it better, and now no one knows how to do that anymore.
I think that if you want a fan like that, you go to an older gentleman like Missing Tooth Greg. I had some issues in my basement, and I needed fans, and I didn't have them. And he said, I got some, but he's 64.
Yeah. He has the fans.
Yeah, he has the fans. If you go to a 30-year-old like Jake, no, we don't have a box fan.
Well, I've done that before, though. Yeah.
You want a tube?
You want a tube?
I'd be like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You want? Hey, how about the ceiling fan? Want to turn that on? No. Can you talk into a ceiling fan? Try that. Try talking to a ceiling fan. See how that makes a robot voice.
Fan.
Anything from the text line, Jake?
Actually, we do, and off YouTube. Genghis Korn on YouTube.
Genghis Korn is a friend of mine.
Is he?
Yes, he's a very loyal follower.
Well, he says, I have a box fan in my shop. I still do this all the time.
See? Thank you.
Genghis still does it as a grown man.
See? Better times. Because he grew up with it.
Yes.
He grew up with it.
Better times, Genghis.
Someone says, Dylan Carney says, I am 39. I still use a box fan every single day.
Really?
Yeah, there's some people that there's a few people.
But you don't see the kids talking into them.
No,
they don't know what it is.
You don't see them as much.
I've not seen it in probably 15 years.
No, you don't see it as much.
No.
You don't.
If I walked by and there was someone, say a nephew or niece doing it, I would do it with them. Hang on.
I know you would.
Let me jump in quick on
For
this.
an hour.
For an hour. Eat up an hour.
Unnamed texture says, my son is 2.5 years old. I just taught him how to talk into the fan. He loved it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you for making sure this is still a thing.
Yes. That's beautiful.
Bringing it back.
Nert says, we have 4 box fans that run every night in our home next to our bed and kids' beds as well. Common to hear the robot voice in our house.
Is it nice?
People
It's
like
not fully gone.
some people just like that sound to get to sleep.
Like the fan sound, yes.
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea.
The box fan was, there was 2 in everyone's house in our day, Sip. When we walked into anyone's house,
100.
there was 2 box fans going, usually moving air from one room to another.
They were all over the place.
They were all over the place. They were walking into a wind tunnel.
Right.
It was a wind tunnel in the house. Not now.
There was a bigger.
Turn the tube fan on. How about the
turn the
ceiling fan?
tube fan on. Oh boy, no, better time.
That is a wonderful edition of Bugaboo Tuesday, Bill's Thrills, sponsored by Dirk Scott and Ty at Mid Plains Advisors. Bill, it's a Wild Card Wednesday. Is that right?
Wild Card Wednesday. I threw a little tease at you earlier.
We did hear the
threw a little
tease.
tease at you
The first segment through the
earlier.
tease.
Wild Card Wednesday. The beatings will continue until morale improves. That's one of my favorite. We used to talk about it all the time, like that. A friend of mine, Toby Nine, his brother had it in his above his company, and it was like above the basically the owner's door was the beatings will continue until morale improves.
That's a rough one.
And it's a rough one,
It's
and
deep.
it's also hilarious. It's very deep and also hilarious at that. Bury the ball. Bury the ball. Mood over magic. So right now, there's a lot of things going on at some places that are not good. And the most important thing, it's not magic plays, it's not dramatic scheme change, it's not new depth chart shakeup, it's all this stuff. You have to get a vibe back in the building.
Ooh.
You have to. It's more important than, well, we're going to run more stretch than inside zone. We're going to do this. If you don't change the vibe in the room. So a lot of coaches would do, if something went really bad, like say it was a Clemson or say it was Florida State, or in a situation, they'd use the term bury the ball, which means just let the game go. Bury the ball, move on to the next game. But you have to get the vibe in the building back.
How do you do that?
If it is just a beatdown, if everything is, you have to find a way to be able to get this done. And it is all the mood of the team now means more than anything else you're doing. One thing people say, well, let's just make it fun. Let's just make it fun. With shortened practice, just make it fun. That's crap. You got to do the work. You got to put the time in. You have to do the work. You have to do all those things.
Totally
but
agree.
you have to find a way when you're in a terrible spot to change. So right now, let's say take Florida and Florida State. They're in terrible spots. Last year, West Virginia was in the worst spot. They were the team. They will be fired by midseason. Then they go out last year against Penn State and just get crushed in the opening game. Imagine that. So as soon as that game's over, what was being said? Does he make it to half the season? What's he do? What did West Virginia do?
Great season last year.
Rallied
Good
and won
season.
9 games. I guarantee they did an incredible job of burying the ball of that game and not have the beatings to continue. It wasn't just like a beat down. They figured out a way to get a vibe back in the building to be able to get it done. Can Florida do that now? Can Florida
State.
do that? Florida State do that right now, especially Florida, because they're like right now. So the lead story last night I read was, who are the 5 coaches on speed dial for Florida's job? That's the number one story.
Wait a second, really?
That was the big story last night. Who are the
Who
5
were
guys?
they? Can you name a couple?
No, but the whole point of the story is like that. Is that how can Napier get these guys rallied back to win
what do you
one
do?
game, to win 2 games? Same thing at Florida State. What do you? I mean, when you watch the body language of Florida State as a whole, it was not good.
Don't you consider
not
something
good.
radical?
You'd be a little radical, but just
Like bring in a magician or something.
No, absolutely not. No, it's like we're gonna have a hypnotist. No, we're not. It's not like that. It's just how your coach.
lighten it up a little.
It's how your coaches are. It's how the head coaches. When you walk out of a staff meeting, is it just shoulders down by everybody on your staff? Are you just like?
Can't be.
It can't be. You have to. This is your best coaching.
be.
Anybody can coach a 10-0 team. That's easy. Oh man, you're what? Oh yeah, I got ideas. I got this. I got this. Try coaching now when things are really upside down. No matter how you cut it. As with the success of Clemson that they've had, that's tough right now. I mean, it turned ugly.
34-3.
6-0 at halftime, and then it finished out
Imploded.
in as an ugly game. So how can they get their vibe back? Is the most important thing going right now. Someone of these teams we'll talk about at the end of the year. They'll go, they did it.
Do you have?
They pulled it off.
Is this built? Do you turn to certain guys on the team in this? Guys that have that sort of personality.
You have to build that. You have to turn. There's going to be leaders. There's going to be leadership. There's going to be coaches. There's going to be personalities, but it has to be from the top down. When you have your really small staff meeting, it's like, guys, we cannot walk around like gloom and doom. We could not walk around in this that type of deal. This
100.
has to be when the team shows up and we do this. You got to find some way. What were the positives? Find some plays that you did. Find effort plays. Look at this. Look at this. We're going to do this. You have to find a way. If it's just like you have no idea, we're not doing this right. It's like then all of a sudden, like I said, if you get into a blame game with the players, and then it's like with this thing's on. I mean, there was a lot of controversy with Brian Kelly that the pundits were saying that he blamed the players after the loss. And so that was a big part of it with what was said after that. Whether he did or not exactly, you listened to the interview, there's some things with it, but there's a vibe you have to catch back. That's the only way you turn this thing around. But it's still work. They're still not going, well, we're just going to go shorter individual. We're not going to quite no
stretch plays.
Yeah. No. We're going to do football work. But you just have to be in the room. I don't need a administrative assistant. I don't need anybody with just this doom and gloom on your face. When kids walk through the door, those players walk in, we got this. We're going to turn this thing around. Here's what we're going to do.
You don't bring in former players.
A lot of conversation is like you bring in somebody to come in and talk to them from outside. I'm not a big fan of outside talk when you're not there every day. If all of a sudden someone just shows up and they're going, hey, let's bring so-and-so in. No, they kind of sit there. They don't know them personally. What they need is energy in the building and a staff that their coaches are coaching them in the right demeanor and getting them going without letting any details go. It's not about like, well, yeah, it's not that important. No, everything's important.
I'm
but
surprised.
How do you go about it?
I was a little surprised how much you stiff-armed the magical act. Because you could say to the guys, it's going to be a miracle for us to get out of this.
So here's what we got here.
Watch this guy.
Watch this guy pull some miracles off.
But anyway.
He's going to do card tricks for us. That's going to get us. But what happened?
Props.
Props.
I am fascinated by it, actually. I'm really interested in Florida State's situation. I guess Florida's too. They're already speculating on Napier's job.
Blown up by Miami first game, 41-17.
But
if you had to pick one of the two, if like you're like, okay, Clemson I would guess has a really good chance of kind of righting this ship.
Okay.
Florida State's really tough with what they went through, and because when you watch them on the field, they've been beat up. They've had the ball run on them, extensively, and they've not had good quarterback play. But they also haven't run the ball. They ran the ball for 25 yards in the game against.
I don't understand
against Boston College.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And so they have some things going on. But my point is, you better get them going. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to get them going. You have to be able to say, we can. What's our goals? Where are we at? What are we going to get done? If you lose like the Clemson game, for them, it's like because it's way, way, way harder at Florida State because they lost 2 conference games.
Right.
So before we like going, hey, we're okay.
No.
Well, they're not. They're 0-2 in the conference.
They're really not okay.
So they're not okay.
They're not.
And they're not okay. Clemson's like, we're fine.
Oh, yeah.
We just got to be able to win the ACC. That's what we have to do.
Do you wonder on Florida State how much it goes back to what happened last year? Is there residual here, do you think?
You have to be in the building. You have to be in the building to really know.
I wonder about
what
that.
there is. You have to be in the building to have that kind of feel for it. But this is where coaches coach. This is where this is coach led, and the players will come along. But if you, like I said, if everything is just woe is me from the coaching staff, it will be horrific.
Yeah,
it will be horrific. So you have to be able to turn that around. Like they said, and they said it's like if we just keep beating them down, eventually they're going to come out of it. No, they won't. No, they won't. Eventually, then all you have is just a beat down team.
God, you spoke. I mean, I think it's really wise what you said. Get in the staff meeting and say we have to be upbeat. I mean, we just be yourselves, but
don't be a phony. Don't be a phony. But everything
be yourselves.
But just talk about find the positives. Find the positives. Find the positives, and anything you can do because you got to be able to find something.
Yeah, and you should be able to.
Yeah, there'll be things you can find. There's things that you can do.
At the end of the day, you're still in a Division I big-time program playing games at beautiful stadiums, and you're in beautiful
every facility, and everyone's getting NIL money.
Right.
And so it's like, hang on now.
Right.
Hang on now. This is going to be hard. I mean, it was going to be hard anyway.
Right.
It was going to be a hard situation for Florida State anyway, but still have a chance to rally back. So
on YouTube, Moonbot says, yes, I like the idea of bringing a magician in. Please bring the magician in. That sounds like a great time. Magic act. We can work this out.
This stuff card tricks.
So pick a card.
I was thinking something more extreme. I mean, like when they fake chopping somebody in half.
That's your fix. That's your fix.
Then you could say to the guys, look, I mean, this is gonna be pretty. It's gonna be hard for us to crawl out of this hole, but look at this.
Look at this.
This will fix everything.
See, weird stuff happens, guys.
We're
gonna take a magic act.
We're gonna have a concert.
It's gonna take a magic act for us to beat Memphis, but let's try
Let's try it.
By the way, before we get to the game show, I'm getting a couple of texts, some pictures, and I want you all to send pictures in regarding the billboard. We have a billboard.
What are you talking about?
We have a billboard up.
People send us pictures of our billboard?
Yes, I got a
please
couple
forward
today.
those to me.
I didn't see those.
53rd and Highway 2 going into Lincoln. So not going out, going into Lincoln, left side of the south side of the road.
Jake's got that.
Now be careful. Don't take a picture when you're driving because that's a very busy road. But
Unless it's not very busy traffic, then try it.
Why don't you
Just
go
whip it out, whip the phone out.
Why don't you go ahead and send
I would
us a
love to
picture.
see someone videotape as they're driving down of our billboard.
Be responsible.
Be responsible.
But please let us know you see our billboard. And there's other ticket billboards across town as well. But if you see our billboard, please send us a picture.
We'd
on the
love to
text
see
line
it.
or tweet us.
I've not
See,
seen it.
Jake's got that look on his face of I know something you don't know.
That's the
He
look.
does.
on the billboard. I don't see
You
that.
do. You do.
I can't wait to see
I'm going
this.
to assess the picture again.
I've
We'll
not
ask
seen it.
Bella and young Ben if they feel the same way about my image on there.
You have a
My look.
bleep eating grin.
No, it is not a bleep eating grin.
Yes,
one
it
up
is.
on us.
No.
Yeah, it's a bleep eating grin. Like you know something we don't know.
Not true.
I'm very.
53rd and Highway 2.
What were
Check
you
it out.
thinking at that moment? I wonder.
Back to more of Bill's Thrills Rewrapped. Sponsored by Acres Equipment on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Yes, as always, Bill's Thrills sponsored by Dirk, Scott, and Ty at Mid Plains Advisors, the ATMs, the cash cows of Lincoln. Please call them at 402-730-7387 for all your financial needs. A free consultation. Bill, it's a Cool Parenting Tips Thursday. What is on your mind today?
Well, I want to hit on something. Cool parenting tips.
There's the flip.
Be unique when you speak for your kids. Be unique as you speak. The daunting task of writing a thank you note. The daunting task of writing the thank you. First, it's really not a daunting task. People say, oh, I got to write these thank you notes. Really? For people who just gave you gifts and prizes and cash type of thing? So it's not that woe is me type of thing. But there's a formula in my mind. There's always a formula on how long. It's like, well, you have 6 months to get them out, or you have so much time. I think that's all crap. Get them out. When you get done with an event, whatever's going on, you get married, you have graduation, whatever the thing is, get the thank you note sent out quickly.
Boom.
How much more do you appreciate getting a thank you note that's like, got it 3 weeks after I went to their wedding? That's really cool. Right away. Stock up. And also it gets you going, because the number of times when that big box of thank you notes sits over there, it just sits there and it haunts you.
Gets bigger.
It gets bigger. On your mind, it's like, and it's like, I'll know it, I'll start it, I'll get it. And it just haunts you. So teach your kids how important it is to be very diligent in the time to get that out, to get it done. But be unique. Always make a personal note. I think anytime there's a thank you note that says, thank you so much for the gracious gift. That's it. Thank them for the gift that they gave you.
Be specific.
I love the specific part. Or if they give you cash, say, I really appreciate you being able to do this and appreciate the cash gift. I'm going to spend the money on a new fishing pole, or we're going to Canada fishing. We're going to go to tell them what you're using the money for, and they feel better. So just being like, we're going to thank you for the money. We put it in the bank. Stop. Don't say that to them. That's dumb. Tell them something you're going to use the money for. They didn't try to boost your retirement.
Yeah.
When you get a gift, have a plan on what you're going to do at that time. Then also, if you have a chance to be unique, if you talk to them, so it's just, let's just say, Shafe, you and your awesome wife, and you're at a deal, and you had to talk to the bride and groom, and you talked about something specific. For what do you usually get when you talk to them? 30 seconds, a minute, something's really quick and brief like that. But what if they mention that in the note? Also, it was really fun to catch up with you when we talked about the game we went to together in Iowa. Whatever it is, those things, make the note personal. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't. But if you hit something personal, if you hit money, where it's exactly being spent, thank you. We didn't have this extra cash. I'm taking this money. We're making the trip. We're going to go to this away game for a Nebraska game. You name what it is, or when you talk specifically about the gift you have and where it's at in their house. I got this gift. Guess where it's at? It's on our fireplace right now as I speak. That type of thing. You can make an art out of thank you notes, and it's really important. Get them out. Be timely. Be unique when you speak.
I appreciate that. It's well
That's
said.
really well done.
Said. Well said.
It is.
As we've all been through it now. They sit there. You look at those thank you notes, and they're over there. They're on the counter. It's all written out. You have them all done. Me and my wife went through it, and we got married, whatever it was, 6-7 years ago. And it was like, and we got to it pretty good. We would do them in sections every night. And I would take some and she would take some, but we'd do them. But we always commented on something about the night. It was so great for this, whatever it was, to try to make it a little bit more personal when you went through it. But if you don't get, the faster you get them done, you'll feel so much better about yourself.
Paul Lever is the lazy version. She says, just make a thank you stamp. No, that's not what Bill said. That's the opposite of what
Just
Bill
the opposite.
said. Come on, Bo Lever.
Believer, not even
Put
close.
some effort into this,
Not
man.
even close like that. Matter of fact, I think if someone sent me a stamped thank you, I would write them back and say, I'd like my gift back. I would write them back.
Please send me back that, or
if you could
Venmo me this much.
The hardest part of the thank you for me is just the mechanics of actually writing, because I don't do it really.
Oh, and that's me too.
My handwriting is terrible.
My penmanship, it's like, I tell my wife I feel awful about this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you get a card, it's not real well written, but you can read it. Do you care? No. If you're the one getting the card, you're going like, that's a great card, but penmanship's an issue. Like that. No, you're not. You don't say that ever. And so, but I agree. So it's the same thing. So if your husband tries to play that card like my penmanship's bad, like, no, get in there, write some. Because you can split them up too. You can split them up between the two of you. Or if it's just you for graduation, get them done.
Just do them in groups of 5.
Yeah,
get 5 done.
Get 5 done. Get them done. Get them done.
Not to be daunting.
A stamp.
Come on,
I would write them back and say, I'd like my gift back. If that's the thank you note that you're saying.
We'll never speak again.
I will not be at your next event.
Don't invite me anymore. Adam in Lincoln says, my wife's family had a rule. You had to write thank you before you could spend it or use it.
Brilliant. What it is that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Good. To have some sort of a plan, it just makes you do it. Because it is. I'm just telling you, it gets put off and gets put off and gets put off.
Our wedding one was bad because it was basically like, I would sit there during NFL games on Sunday and I would do the 5 thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I got like 10 done today, but the wedding just feels like it's never ending.
It does go on for it. But also, who hasn't done this one? I got to write thank you notes. Really? Because you just got a cool gift, or someone drove from Idaho to your wedding, like that. And it's like
grateful, you jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
And
you have a hard time, thanking someone that spent thousands of dollars to come to your wedding to get there, and then you're like going, now I got to write him a note. This is a joke.
Here's a text here. This is from Z-Man at Planet Fitness. He says, "I'm getting married in 29 days. Thank you, Bill, for the tips. By the way, would love to have you guys there at the wedding."
Nice.
Where and when?
We need some details like that. And also, will there be food in crock pots? That's my favorite. Little meatballs and little hot dogs.
The crock pot wedding?
Oh, a crock pot wedding would be.
I don't know that I've been to a lot of crock pot weddings.
It used to be a little more popular. It's a little bit more people now that caters. But if you went to it and they said, "What's the food?" and you looked over there and there was 20 crock pots lined up with meatballs and little wieners and barbecue sauce and other dips and stuff, would you be happy, Schaefer?
Oh yeah,
yeah, it'd be ecstatic. Oh, we're gonna have a sit down meal. We're gonna have beef tenderloin stuff. I just as soon walk around and eat some hamburger dip over there.
Give me the popcorn.
I'd much rather have
100% on.
Yeah, and that's almost everyone. It was beautiful. They had a 7-course meal. Nope. Just give me.
You got to remember though,
we got crock pots over here.
That Bill has said he would rather have a nice dessert over a nice steak, though. So he's a dessert guy.
Yeah. Same thing. It's like you want.
I'm an appetizer finger food guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like very much like the quick poppables. Like that's where I make my living.
Oh, I do too. And when you're in an event and someone comes walking by with things you can just grab off a tray,
yes.
That's remarkable dining. It's as good as life gets. But like I said, I would much rather have that than
crab cakes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'll try one of those. I've never really left a wedding and just went like, what'd you remember about it? The meal. The meal. I mean, it's like it's okay. It's a good meal. It's solid. Like that. Not near as good as appetizers. Right. Doesn't remind you that.
By the way, last one here. Another person chiming in saying, as somebody who is currently engaged, where do I send an invite for Bill to the wedding? Send to 1040 O Street, Suite 100.
1040 O Street. Send it here. Yeah, I'd love to. Like that. And I'll be honest, if I get invited, I try to attend. I'll try to be in attendance. Awesome. I'll do what I can to, if some breaker reaches out, absolutely. And then also, like I said, the next thing too, if it's a wedding situation, it's 2 things. I want appetizers, and then I want the cake, and I want it to be just white wedding cake.
Okay,
that's it.
Simple as that.
Simple.
I didn't go cake.
Didn't you? Where'd you go?
We went donuts and cookies.
Nothing wrong with it.
I was there. It was good too. I was at that wedding.
There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of that.
Back to more of Bill's Thrills Rewrapped. Sponsored by Acres Equipment on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Bill, it's a Freaky Friday. What's on your mind today?
We're going to talk must-see football.
Oh, yes.
Must-see football for games. I've got my list even goes beyond this, but there are some games that are just going to be epic in my opinion. And one of them starts tonight. BYU at SMU. BYU
tonight
at SMU. Yes, that's an ACC Big 12 clash, and that is going to be very interesting. I love watching BYU play. The thing you'll notice in the SMU game tonight, the place will be sold out. And for part of that reason will be because BYU travels. They travel like Nebraska travels. They fill other states. They're probably as good as they're honestly 100. Probably about as good as there is in the country for traveling.
LSU.
They show LSU's probably the best. They really are.
West Virginia.
They
traveled like hell.
Yeah, they travel. So this is a huge game. Here's my one that I'm just so pumped to watch. Arkansas Pittman at Okie State. Arkansas at Okie State.
I thought there was a school called Arkansas Pittman for a second. No, Arkansas versus Okie State.
Yeah, see what Pittman, what he does versus Okie State. That is that's SEC Big 12, big game. Pittman's huge. On the hot seat. Shouldn't be.
Pittman's on the hot seat.
On the hot
seat.
You're
putting him on the hot seat.
But he shouldn't be. He's on the hot seat, but he shouldn't be. He fits Arkansas. Just let him be. Just let him be, in my opinion. This one's big. Baylor, Utah. Now, Jake, is this a huge Big 12 matchup?
It's pretty important.
No, it's not. You know why? It's not a Big 12 game. Both Big 12 teams, it's not a Big 12 game. They played already last year before the conference changed. This was scheduled as a non-conference game, so it goes down as a non-conference game.
How?
Because they play. That means they're playing 10. They're playing 10 Big 12 opponents.
That
only
is
9.
Weird.
So it happens again later in the season with Kansas State and I think Arizona State or Arizona. Kansas State, Arizona. So that's great information. So this is not
it's a conference game. It does not count as a conference game.
So when this game's over, in the win-loss category, it'll still be zeros in the conference game.
Wow. Okay, well, it took a while today, but you earned your money. Good job.
Baylor played really well in the opener. Aranda's calling the defense now. So it's interesting because it's Aranda versus Andy Ludwig. Okay, the game is very important for Baylor. Obviously, right now that Aranda's on the hot seat.
Aranda's on the hot seat.
Aranda and Ludwig were the D coordinator and offensive coordinator at Wisconsin together. Andy Ludwig's son is a defensive coach for Baylor. There's a lot of things going on there that people didn't probably understand. This is what I think is Iowa State, Iowa, yes. Cyhawk, we're seeing. Not going to dig too deep into that. It's worth watching. Nothing like Michigan State at Maryland. I think that's a great game to watch. Michigan State at Maryland. Michigan State struggled. Maryland lost everybody. Played really well in the opener against UConn. I think that's interesting.
Does Maryland boat race them?
I believe they do.
I think they're a 9-point favorite.
I believe they do.
Boat race like to the tune of 38-14.
I think you just nailed the score exactly. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Here's one that I can't wait to see. Idaho at Wyoming.
You can't wait to see Wyoming.
Idaho played Oregon really tough. Wyoming went down to Arizona State and got beat 49-0. And I want to see what happens in this game.
You can't wait to see it. There's probably Wyoming fans that wouldn't say that.
I can't wait to see it. KU Illinois, we've already hit on. I love this one too. Tulsa, Arkansas State. Can't wait to see what happens in this one.
Why is that? Why?
I think it wasn't Arkansas Pine Bluff. I can't think who they played in the first game, but it was an FCS team. I'm losing my mind on this. They catch the winning score, Arkansas State, and Butch Jones is on the hot seat. They catch the winning score. They call it no touchdown, game over, Arkansas State loses. They review it, and the review team is from like the Sun Belt. They change it and call it a touchdown. And he dropped it. He clearly dropped the ball.
They're playing Central Arkansas.
Yeah. Central Arkansas has a chance to beat Division I Arkansas State, and they do. They beat him. They win the game. After the game, in the interview, before they even talked about the review, they interviewed the receiver, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm really kind of surprised they called it a touchdown." He said it, and Butch Jones is in the background goes, "No, it was a catch. It was a catch."
Believe me.
And the receiver's like, "Well, I don't know. I don't think I did. I don't think I did catch." He said the receiver said I didn't catch it, and then they came out on Monday and said, "Yeah, he didn't catch it."
But they won.
But too late. They won.
But too bad because
gave them the win.
they still won the game.
Wow.
They would have lost the game to Central Arkansas.
And then Butch would be in trouble.
Oh God, he's already in trouble. That would have been like the end of it.
The nail.
It would have been the nail. So that interests me.
Whoa.
The Tennessee at NC State we already talked about is really good. The Boise State, Oregon, really good. Texas Tech, which I've already talked about, at Washington State, I think could easily be 70 to 69,
something like that,
with a field storming possibility. It could be just crazy up and down the field. But my one that I just late night that I'll be so locked into: Mississippi State at Arizona State. SEC versus the Big 12, and Arizona State won 49-0 in their opener against Wyoming. Everybody thought they were going to finish dead last. Like, oh, hang on now, pretty good looking team. Sam Leavitt, pretty good looking team. So, and Mississippi State, that's going to be a fun game to watch. There's a lot of secret games in there that are going to be awesome to watch. I will be up late.
Is that late night, Arizona State?
That's a late one. Yeah, okay. That's going to be a late one. So that's going to be a fun game. Anyway, that's my Bill's Thrills.
Good contribute. That was a good contribution.
The Utah-Baylor game is very intriguing because of all the facts.
I'd love to watch have a game day with Bill because I think he just flipped all over the place to all these games trying to get. It'd be great.
My brain wouldn't handle it.
Are you a one TV system or several?
In the basement, I've got three TVs.
See, me and you are way different. I like locking it on one.
No,
I'll check the scores.
The number of times my wife just loses it. She goes, I don't even know who we're watching. I have no idea what's going on.
Come on, Gonzaga.
I'm with Laura on this one.
There's also times when I flip out though, and I might say a swear word when I'm going through four games I'm going through, and they're all at commercial at the same time. I'm just like, how can this be? Yep. How can everyone be a commercial at the same time? But you got to be like, okay, what's going on here? Okay, there's a good drive going. I got to stay with this game. I got to go with this game. And go back.
That sounds fun. So you don't have any speaking engagements tomorrow. You can just lock in.
Yes, it'll just be yes. We'll watch
football.
A lot of ball.
It's a football day for
watch
Bill.
A lot of ball.
Football day for Bill.
Tulsa, Arkansas State. Like how I'm looking.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
I can't say I'll be watching that game. But
I don't even know
if
there's Tulsa fans that are saying that.
Can't wait.
Well, in Idaho, Wyoming, of course. Bill,
Idaho, Wyoming.
Sip's locked in. Bill will be locked in for Idaho.